Okay, hello. Sorry I'm a few minutes late. I got silly playing with the little masks and things, trying to find something funny for today. But it's better just to come on and have my dragon friend here with me. Here's my silly guy. So hello. It is Tuesday, and we're going live in the For the Love of Dragons group today, and I'm going to do Q&A and little mini readings for some folks who are on. Hi Rachel, nice to see you. And let's just have some fun. We've got 4th of July here in the United States. Hi Christina. So we are moving into a fun week. Hi Suzanne. And celebrating independence. And to me, you know what? Freedom is being able to do stuff like this, to connect with the people that have similar interests and share all the incredible things that are happening beyond 3D reality. So let's see, Tamitha, hi, nice to see you. I don't have any questions that have come up in group specifically that I was going to aim for today. Hi Bridget. There we go. Perfect, Bridget. I would love to know why the 3 dragons have appeared to me. Awesome question, Bridget. And I know that I mentioned to you about activating or waking them up or seeing what's going on with that. So let's go into that as a subject because it's been coming up for more than just you, Bridget. People are starting to see dragons in the earth around them, in the skies, in their fireplaces. And the ones that are in the earth specifically, there are places, hi Benny, there are places around the globe where dragons are either trapped inside or have closed in because it wasn't safe for them to be out in the world. And they may be asleep, they may be just waiting for your keys and codes to unlock them. Hi Anna. And so when you feel that, and this is where I've talked about before, I know that I have some major activation points to hit, some bigger ley lines and grids, but you know what? The worldwide, here we're on the web, but if you imagine that web, that energetically all the ley lines and grids, and let me come back to that, Christina, I'm going to have to scroll back up to read that when I'm done with this question. But on the worldwide grids, if you imagine these great big ley lines of trines that are created, for example, there's a large one that I know I'm going to be doing activation in Mount Kailash, South Africa, and Uluru. In actually, I've got to realign the shrines. South Africa, Uluru, and Antarctica are actually one of the bigger shrines. And South Africa is coming up to do this fall in November, aligned with something in Egypt. So that's been interesting to come in. But those are bigger points, and there's points all over the globe in large shrines. But in that, there are smaller ones that if you imagine what a spider web looks like, and there's this great big connection between them all. So you've got the major framework, right? And then you've got all the little interplays that make the web. And look at what does a cobweb look like? It's so filled in. That's what the energy grids are going to get to, and each of us has a piece to play there. So if we're each doing our own activation pieces when we feel called to do them, that's key in actually getting the grids lit up and all activated. And sometimes the timing will be where you're aware of a dragon, and maybe it's not today, and maybe it's a year from now that maybe you have a dream, maybe you just have a hit and go, I've got to drive there, and I'm not sure why. And then you get there and you realize, like, oh my gosh, it's time to wake this dragon up. And you might just be aware of it now, and it might be a year from now, like I said, and it might have to do with the timing of the bigger points and the bigger grids that need to be aligned first. But you'll know, it's one of those internal pieces of knowing. And so for you, Bridget, you've found those 3, and I think I mentioned to try and see if you find them around you, pinpoint where they are on a map. Try and see if by chance there are 3 and they line up, because that would be your calling to go and see if there's a bigger trine. Maybe there's just one dragon in an area that needs to awaken. Maybe he's trying to connect with you personally. But I do feel strongly that each of us has different codes for the different lineages of dragons, for those specific lines, or that you're carrying a piece for that dragon where you live, that because you are dragon or are connected to the dragons, you carry the codes that can help unlock those gates for them to be freed. I know Joanne Dunn shared her experience, like many that I've shared, about having this gut instinct to go in a place, follow a certain set of things that come through, whether it's toning, whether it's mantra, whether it's just speaking from the heart and feeling energetically what you're supposed to do, because it's an intuitive knowing that unlocks it. Hi Lori, hi Sue, and being able to go in and just follow that gut instinct. And so Joanne, when she did the solstice ceremony, got to have that experience for the first time of feeling like 700 dragons released from under this stone circle through her. And I know that happened to me in Glastonbury, it happened to me in Machu Picchu. There's been other places where something like that comes up, and maybe you're just going to release one or two. Maybe there's a place where you're going to release hundreds. We don't know, because everybody's got their own piece and purpose. But Bridget, I would say specifically, definitely tune in and see if there's a trine there that they're trying to show you that needs to be activated. And that might be something that just is coming into your field of awareness, and maybe through some deeper work together, you learn how to do that, or you get guidance on how to do that if that's what you feel you need. Because I know that can happen. I know that some of that came through in the last book club, but also my one-on-ones, that kind of stuff can happen. So let me scroll back. I know that there was a question here from Christina. I'm curious about dreaming about dragons and what that's about. I had one a few weeks back about one in the water. So let's address that, Christina, because that's also a great question. And what was it, Christina, and was it Rachel had the same dream? Yes, you had a similar dream a while ago. So those are the dragons trying to contact you. Anything that happens in your dream state is your sleep time. You're going into the spirit world. Every time you go to sleep, you cross those borders and you go into the spirit realm. And so you're probably connecting with all of your guides, including your dragon guides, including your truest dragon essence, if you are dragon yourself, if you're a dragon heart or dragon keeper. So when you go into the spirit state, you're actually going and trying to bring back information. So in your dreams, when you can remember pieces of it, that's information that can translate back. When you can't remember pieces of it, that's information that is probably too high level or can't really be processed by the human brain. And so we forget a lot of it. It can't come back through and translate into something that we can understand. So a lot of the geometries that you might dream of, they're very hard to bring back, because quite often they are geometric and mathematical patterns that are so intricate and I want to say higher level of understanding and comprehension that our little brain can't wrap around yet. So when you get bits and pieces, it's like you're translating it back, getting down and down, bringing the codes with you of what you can, and you want to draw those if you're getting geometries. But with dreams, so say you're dreaming of water dragon, be aware that quite often can be me. I am that a large water dragon. So tune in and see, did it have something to do with doing work together? Did you feel like we were working together in the spirit realms? Because I know that's happening a lot. Are you just connecting to a water dragon? Is it connected to you? Trying to get more pieces of understanding of that. But anything where you're dreaming about the dragons, your consciousness is trying to move you into remembering more and more of yourself. Remembering more and more of what you're spending time in the spirit world focused on. And usually in the spirit world, we're focused on our soul's next greatest opening. And so maybe this is your phase to really access your dragon self. You might go through phases where you're connecting to your angelic self, or other pieces or past life memories where you're dreaming a lot about different places in the world, different time frames or periods where you're like, wow, that was so strange. I was in like Sumeria, or like countries that maybe don't even exist anymore, or Atlantis or Lemuria. Water dragon also, that can be taking you back if you remember the rest of the dream, and there's Atlantis or Lemurian feel to it, or costume of what people were wearing, if they were, or were they in their energy bodies. A lot of the Atlantean civilization, they were so advanced that they were able to be in their energy body most of the time. That's why teleportation was possible. That's where we're heading. I feel like as we open to the 5D realms and worlds, that's all going to unfold. Will it be in this lifetime, in this body? Boy, that'd be cool. I hope so. But it's where we're heading as a population of civilization, and so we'll see how far we get, I guess. Let's see. I hope that answered for you there, both Rachel and Christina. And I would really appreciate why Quetzalcoatl seems to want to connect to me. What is the connection about? Been having downloads through the sun, and I'm seeing Mayan symbols. So Quetzalcoatl specifically isn't necessarily to do with the dragons, Anna, but I think it's more connected to the Phoenix energy, and the Phoenix energy is rising as well, and this is connected to what's happening with Egypt this fall and the large female black dragon there, with the rising of the divine feminine energy that she holds and has been suppressed for thousands of years in that whole patriarchal swing. You know, the civilization in Egypt that's like 5,000 to 7,000 years old, where all of the pharaohs and Tutankhamun and Akhenaten and this, it was a patriarchal system, and all of that energy through the Middle East, it's suppressed her energetically, and she's now rising, and that's part of the reason the activation is coming up for that zone first. So with that, there's been a lot more Phoenix energy coming in, also Swan energy coming in. So when you ask about Quetzalcoatl and the Mayan aspect, if you are having downloads through the sun and Mayan symbols, there's a piece there for you. Probably in past life connection stuff, which, you know, past life is really just concurrent, right? There's, outside of the 3D time-space continuum, you're actually able to connect, and in your dream time, connect to all of the different aspects that you're experiencing in all the different time frames or time references that we have as far as a linear time forward and back. So Mayan shamanism, Mayan medicine work, any of those that you've had priest or priestess experience with, or medicine man work with, if you're working with that in your dream time, that's going to be coming through in meditations, definitely coming through the sun codes. There's so much coming in right now, and so that's your specific lineage or work that you're doing right now, Anna. So hopefully that makes some sense to you. Yes, absolutely, Bridget. And let's see, Rachel's question about being a dragon keeper. Once the dragon in your spine begins moving, do you have to have energy work done to release it? What then? I had a moment while doing a ritual during the solstice where I had the most intense pain I've felt in a while. Though someone used a wand and released the energy vortex there, and it's been much better. I had another twinge last night. So, dragon... The difference between Dragon Keeper and Dragon Heart, Rachel. So first, looking at when the dragon in your spine begins to move, if there's a dragon in your spine, unless it's coming out and actually separating itself from you and walking side by side with you, like this, like, okay, my dragon comes out of my spine and is here, that would be a Dragon Keeper, where you actually, instead of embodying or separating your human self and your dragon self and walking side by side, whereas the Dragon Hearts is more what you're connecting to, where the spine, where it comes up through the spine and it starts awakening in you, and you start experiencing flying as the dragon, especially in your dream state or in your meditations, and actually feeling yourself moving into being the dragon, feeling yourself blowing the flames or breathing the flames, feeling yourself having that power and that liftoff or those shackles, and starting to have that memory. So having those cellular codes released. So do you have to do energy work to release it? Typically, that's how I actually got into really realizing the dragons in my life, and that's where it woke up, was working with people who were having that in their body, having that in their spine or their hips where their tail is trying to come out. And so yes, energy work to release it. If you can do that energy work on your own with your guides, if you're that intuitive and connected enough, absolutely you can. But the reason that there are healers and people like myself in the world and others that do energy healing work is because they're in service here to do that. They're here to help those that maybe your gifts are different and you bring through artwork or you bring through codes, or you're, just because someone isn't energetically in a gift like that, maybe they're a principal at a school and they know how to, or they're teachers, or, whatever their field is, they can still be those dragons that might not be their gift to be able to go in internally and connect to it. So yes, there's energy work that needs to happen to help release it. Otherwise you might end up having pain for a long period of time. It can be weeks, it can be months. I know people that have had back pain for like 2 years because they weren't ready to face that part of themselves. They weren't ready to release it. So doing work with an energetic healer can actually move it through really quickly and help break free the resistance of it coming out. Because typically when there's pain, it's trying to release and come out and expand yourself because your soul's ready to move into that stage of your journey. But at the same time, if there's resistance to that, you're going to have more intense pain and it's going to last longer because you're fighting it. Because your body is saying, oh no, I'm not ready to be my dragon. And you might start having cramping or power struggles in your womb space if there's empowerment issues where you're not ready to own that kind of power. Because stepping into your dragon means really stepping into your full aspect of power, wisdom, and heart, and bringing those all together. And that's what we focus on in the 9 months of the Dragon Heart program, is aligning all of those pieces, moving all the resistance out, moving all the blocks out, learning how to bring those centers together and beam it through from the heart space. So during the solstice ritual, you have the most intense pain. And it's someone using a wand, so someone actually helping move some of that energy out. Because that's usually all it takes, but that's why there's facilitators around the planet that can do that. So hopefully that answers your question, Rachel. Hi, Nikki. Good to see you. Let's see who else is here. Christina, you've been in some of them around that time, so that makes sense. Yeah, if the water dragon, and people do experience that. I am doing a lot of work in my dream time. I know that it's possible to be, if you imagine masters and archangels, there are 8 billion people around the world, right? Probably a small percentage of those are actually working with or channeling or calling in those beings to work with. But if you think about it, at any given time, there could be 20, 30, 100 people calling on Saint Germain or Archangel Michael, or some of the more common ones. They might be being accessed or called on a continuous basis by 100 people all at once. How do they do that? There are ways with your spirit body to actually send a piece of your essence out to be there and be in multiple places at multiple times. But there's a certain mastery in those levels for them to be able to do that. So I know that in the spirit realms, I do feel strongly that that's happening on some level, where I'm working with a lot of the people that are coming to me through the dragon work and starting to connect and want to open that we make contracts or agreements in the spirit realms where I am present or I'm checking in with you. And it doesn't come consciously back normally, but it does feel strongly when someone tells me about their dream. I feel that connection of, if it was me, that was probably me there, and you'll feel that. And that was probably when we were just starting to make that agreement to do some work together. Rachel, another question: how do you access your dragon self? That's a big one. That's like a full program of access, but it is slowly going in and going through. I think what really starts the connection is starting to bridge through all the work in the book of, and hi Shannon Marie, of going in and starting the work with the elementals and the dragons, all of the dragon families, that as you start to connect to more dragon energy, that piece of yourself starts to wake up. And it can happen in reverse, that you wake up to that and then you start realizing that, whoa, there's something within me that's dragon, and I need to connect to these other dragons to bring out more of it. Because what those, especially the elementals and the work with them does through the book, is it starts opening all of the lines in the body that are bringing in your highest self, your light body. If you are a dragon heart or a dragon keeper, your light body is dragon. That your highest soul essence is dragon coming into human body form. That your truest sense, when you step out of your human form and go back into your soul essence, that if you're first and foremost dragon, that would be the form of your light body. So when you're trying to access your dragon self, by opening all of those pathways in the body that the elementals and the black and white dragons do for us in this 3D physical form, because they're the guardians of this realm, they're the guardians of this 3D matter that we're experimenting with. And so by using them and their connection to go through all the different parts of the body that they are in charge of and help you open, that opens the pathway for that higher vibration of your dragon self to start coming in. And the more work you do, the more strongly it comes in. Some people have spontaneous aspects where that wakes up in them, and then they start the work with all the elementals to clear the physical body. Then they start knowing that they have guides around that are working with them to actually bring in those different pieces for them. And you might have one dragon guide, you might have 3, you might have 7. I've seen it all. I've seen large, and you might have one that's working with you predominantly. You might have a clan of dragons around you all the time that are like your dragon family, that are there just supporting and energetically like cheering you on. And you might feel that. You might feel at different times all these dragons around you. Are they there to work with you and teach you and guide you, to assist you through different parts? They could be. Like this one over here who's standing back in the crowd might have a key or code for you at a given moment, and maybe that's what they're waiting for, to step in your dream time and help you through that specific piece. But you will have a predominant guide, or maybe 2 or 3 guides that are there to bring you through a specific lesson. So there's a lot to actually that question of how do you access your dragon self, but those are some starting points for you. And I know that any kind of deep level work to that higher self opening, of really being able to access that, is going to take a desire, an internal desire, because nothing manifests into this realm without your heart's desire first. And if you truly desire to connect to your dragon self, then that opens the doors for the help to arrive to get you there. So let me just scroll through and see if we have any more questions, and also see, let's see what, not sure what time we're at. Tracy, hi Tracy, hi Jetta, and you're welcome, Anna. Adriana, could you talk about wings? I've been feeling like I have wings, and I've been trying to see what they look like. Every time I try to see them, they look like black dragon wings. I don't know if that's possible, or if I'm seeing the wings of a guide. So Adriana, your first and foremost tuning in is almost always going to be accurate. So when you get intuitive hits, the first thing is to start trusting them. Because when you start second guessing and bringing the information up here, that's when it gets muddled, confused, and you start going into self-doubt. So when your first inkling comes in, journal it, write it down, whatever, and then go back to it when all the confusion starts coming in. I'm just going to ask about another technique for you, because in trying to see your wings, tuning in, you can see and feel your whole self, and as you feel your wings expand, it's almost like the back of your third eye can see what it is. Like you have this 360 degree view, and this almost like a higher perspective when you're really connected to your truest self and able to go, oh yeah, they're big black wings. But let's just tune in quickly, because I'm willing to do a couple of mini readings today. So let me just go in and tune into those wings for you. So as I look at your wings, Adriana, what I'm seeing is almost like the framework, or the main like foundation color is this black, but there's these brilliant cobalt blue to really dark, like midnight blue, like a midnight sky. And this part you might not be aware of yet, because it's closer into your body and it's starting to unfold for you. But I'm seeing these beautiful markings that go up the wings and into this beautiful pattern along the wings. So you've got this cobalt blue right where they join. And so your back has these cobalt blue as well. And the whole dragon body is actually that black foundation, but with this mix of cobalt blue to midnight sky blue of patterning. And there's some very intricate marking lines that sort of give definition in different places on your form that are like an aqua blue. So yes, you're right on track with black. I don't know if that's possible. Absolutely possible. And no, your guide is different. I see you have actually a guide with you. You have an air dragon guide with you right now. He's orange and yellow. When I tune into what the guide is working with you right now, he's actually working with you on on flying, on how to access your wings as far as flight, of actually getting up to that higher perspective. So he's trying to get you to actually use your wings and get up to a place where perspective is up here and opening the channels through your body. So I would encourage you, Adriana, to go into the book and do the air dragon meditations, especially with the track, to get more connected to that guide specifically for you. Awesome. So let's see. Rachel, oh, I see. Thank you. Benny, I have a similar experience with my wings. I wonder how to expand the energy. So Benny, I hope that helped. How to expand the energy with your wings. Just continually working them. And here, just the air dragons are saying, tell anyone with the wings that we're here to assist if they're wanting to help them expand. And really just doing exercises where you go in and meditate and sit with that and feel them expand out. Because it's like exercising, it's like any tool, whether it's your internal sight or hearing or your meditative state, any practical tool on your spiritual journey that takes you internal into an opening of greater perception and awareness, you have to exercise it. So expanding the energy with your wings, it's simply that, going in and focusing on tuning into that part of your being, calling it forth, and then like physically stretch them out, bring them in, stretch them out, flap them, open them, and you'll start to feel those energy lines open up more. And yes, the air dragons are very present right now, saying, hey, everybody here that wants to open that, we're here with them. So get them to go in and work with us. Call us forth. We're here. We're ready right now to help you expand your wings. Rachel, yeah, I've had back pain for a while, years now. I think I will work with an energetic healer. Thank you. Absolutely, Rachel. Jody. Hello, Jody. I'd like to thank you for this Q&A. It's nice to connect with you. Absolutely, Shannon Marie. Wonderful to have you online. Curious about my dragon. Can you tell me anything about him, please? So, Jody. Coming back to that, Jody. Adriana, yes, it looked like a 360 view. Perfect. So I'm flying as I was meditating in orange yellow. Thank you so much. Beautiful. If you have time to tune into me, who's with me besides my dragon? Being self. Hi, Loretta. Sylvie, if you have time to tune in and tell me about my dragon, thank you. Tamitha, if you have an insight for me and mine, I would appreciate it. So, all right, well, tell you what, I'm going to do 2 of these. So Jody, I'm going to go in there. So Jody Ketsi, I'm curious about my dragon. Can you tell me anything about him, please? Let me just get my feet on the ground, really get grounded here. So this will just be a little mini reading to tell you just brief bits. Jody Ketsi. So Jody, when I tune into, I'm seeing a dragon guide stepping forward immediately. That's magenta and red. So feeling the energy of fire dragon with you. But the magenta energy is really connected to the high heart. So opening that fire energy through the heart. So this guide that's with you, this magenta, it's a blend of red, magenta, and there's white markings, both along the wings and the back, and like, so the magenta moving into white, like along there's horns and tendrils here, definitely winged, and it almost moves through like magenta to pink to white in the markings. And the name Brianna or Brihanna is coming in to be able to call her in. It is a female, and she is here, Jody, working with you on expanding your heart space. It looks like there's a lot of heart space wounding that she's trying to help you move through so that you can actually open up to accessing more in receiving. Because there's part of your heart that's shut down that is presenting you from actually receiving too much or going too far in your journey, and it's just a fear of getting hurt, fear of getting too involved or too close to something that would be too dear to you and cause pain. So Brianna is there to work with you through that. So I hope that helps. All right, so I'm just going down to the next one who asked, and Shannon Marie. I'm going to tune into you quickly. Who is with me besides my dragon being self? So when I tune into you, Shannon, I'm getting immediately there's a team of 3 around you. So it's interesting because I'm seeing a white and a crystal and a gray. So there's something with that in the lineage between the black and the white dragons, working on some higher aspect energy. So there's some, you've probably been feeling called to learning about DNA activation or feeling stuff up and down your spine, but they are ready to pull you into some openings that you're ready to receive. It has to do with some higher coding work, so I'm not sure, Shannon, what level of spiritual journey you've been on as far as opening, but the team of 3 that's working with you right now is gray, white, and crystal. They do feel like they're merged, they're androgynous, so they're already merged, masculine, feminine. So there's some higher octave energies that are opening some stuff along your spine. And really helping you, they're there to help you access some higher level pieces. Looks like your next phase after them is going to be going into some deeper shadow work. So it's like the gray and the white working with the crystal and dragon for some upper body stuff. So you'll feel most of it from your upper shoulders up through the head space and then right down the central spinal channel. And when that's completed, you're going to have a team come in that's going to be connected more with the black dragons and working some shadow work down through the womb space. So hopefully that helps. And let's see, let's just go ahead and do one more. Sylvie Chapillon. And all right, Sylvie. You've got a really etheric, it's like a sea mist green to teal blue green, but almost leaning more green, but very etheric feeling, very, I would say lineage of water dragon, but almost connected more to the mists. It makes me curious where you live. Are you over in like UK? See if you pop up here. Nods very much so. Thank you. Love and blessings to you. That's Shannon. So Sylvie, if you're still on, I'm just curious where in the world you are. Because tuning in, you've got this water dragon, etheric mists. I'm feeling a strong connection with Avalon. And waterways. So she's telling me she's a dream timekeeper. So she's actually so etheric because she's working with you and connecting into some different realms, taking you back in your dream space to the dragon realms to help you start remembering more of your home turf. So if you don't know what that term turf is, like your home base. So back in the Dragon Realms, there's some places that she, it's like she works in the mist to bring you through the mists and back, and through the mists and back. And so you probably have felt a strong connection to Avalon in the past, or being drawn to it currently because there's some pieces there for you. And there's also a connection between the Dragon Realms and the fairy realms. So there's some places there that she's taken you in the dream time to work with. And let me just get a name for you to facilitate that. It's so interesting because her name is very misty and etheric too, so it's hard to get it as syllables. So it's coming through as more of like sound or tone. So I'd encourage you to allow tone to come through. It's definitely a higher octave range. And if you were to actually, if you're comfortable in water, sitting under a bathtub even, but a swimming pool, a lake, an actual physical body of water in nature, fresh water though, not necessarily the ocean, but being in a freshwater body of water and going underwater and sounding is going to actually deepen that connection for you. And it might feel like the most natural thing in the world. She's trying to introduce you back to these elements of your nature to be this serpentine self underwater, and how you would tone, because you're a gift of toning through the water. And her tones, they're higher range. I don't know if you'll be able to repeat exactly what I'm doing. And she's saying it's really just about her opening her vocal cords and letting out the higher range frequencies that want to come in the water, and she'll feel me immediately. So Sylvie, I hope that helps. And everybody else, dropping in with Dragonheart love, I love that. So anybody else, I apologize. Hi Sean, nice to see you. Not going to have time to get to anybody else's questions today, but we will do this again. It's always super fun, and I'm so glad that we had such a great turnout here on a Tuesday, going earlier than planned. So the next week we will go at 3:15 again on Tuesday, and everybody in the United States have a fabulous 4th of July tomorrow. I hope that this brings you your freedom, your independence, because I know that for me, working in this way is my true freedom. Working towards being my truest self is bringing me into my independence and my freedom, and that is what I'm celebrating this year. I've actually started my business, actually opened my healing space, first official one in 15 years of actually having a dedicated healing space outside my home 1 year ago on July 1st. And so I'm thrilled to actually be celebrating that and celebrating it with you guys. I love that you're here, and if you want full-on dragon readings, a full 20 minutes with more in-depth, if you want 75-minute readings, if you want to know about the next book clubs or Dragonheart programs and get on the list to be notified for those, please let me know, because that's what I'm here for, and this is what's bringing me joy and putting my soul into its greatest expression of freedom and independence. So wishing you a fabulous week. We'll see you next Tuesday about 3:15 Pacific Standard. Bye, everybody.